It's going to take me a little bit to get organized here. I apologize. Okay, should be good. Sorry about that. Okay, so I need to get Bobby in here, and then I need to go Vamos for a second. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm going to do that. Hold on a minute. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. It's a little strange. I had to literally change computers for a second. I see you, Bobby. I just need a second. Really strange what just happened here. Hold on. Hey, Bobby, I literally had to change computers.
Oh, what happened there, bud?
Nothing. It just wasn't accessing my microphone properly. So I just need a minute to gather all the stuff that I had on my other computer, and then I'll be with you. You can start talking about the slate, but all my spreadsheets are on my other monitor, so I have to just get there. So hold on.
All right, no problem. I'll start talking about the slate. I do think that the Dinwiddie news is pretty relevant. And now we are in a weird spot because Neto, slight injury going on, isn't the most exciting guy, but I still like him tonight. I think it increases Bradley Beal's upside, which will also increase his ownership. I actually think the sneaky play here is Aaron Holiday. I have one big lineup and one medium-sized lineup that I'm playing today on DK because it's kind of a weird slate, and I think that I'm going to play Aaron Holiday in one of those two lineups. I'm deciding which one. It's speculative. It's not necessarily necessary. Bradley Beal point can happen. KCP can handle some of the ball responsibilities. But I like the idea of getting the low-owned guy with maybe a similar upside to these guys at even a cheaper price. So I'm a little bit into that. Side note, golf is interesting. If I didn't play the Vanderbilt guy, I think I'd be in really good shape in a couple of my lineups. But I do have a bunch of Garrick Higo and Patrick Reed and a bunch of the 3-under guys. So we'll see how that goes.
I have really good news in golf that I'm not going to have to watch it the rest of the weekend.
Right. You say that now, and then you win a tournament Sunday afternoon. It's like, oh my God, how did this happen? And
unless the cut line's like +7, I think I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble.
You never know, man. Hey, Vanderbilt could shoot, 3-under, 2-under.
You know what? That's all you know what? You never know.
You never know.
All
right. So
I'm opening up my spreadsheets. Then I'm opening up DraftKings where I'll show my ownerships. I was all ready for a full presentation on my other computer, but that's the way variance works sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'm
opening up my spreadsheets. Then I'm opening up draft.
Yeah. Side note, before we get into all that stuff, I do think it's funny because I'm getting a lot of flack on Twitter for something I reposted for the Braves chant. I was saying that I said on our show a while back, I said the worst thing that could happen to the Braves is they win the World Series because then their stupid tomahawk chant will never exist again, and that is already on the verge of happening. There's a lot of people about it, yeah, and it's a disgusting chant anyway. You shouldn't be too proud of that chant. Yeah. It's literally the worst chant in all of sports, and it's like a hard one to chant like in line with. Like even if it was like the coolest thing and it meant all the cool new wave things, it's like Like who wants that? That's a weird chant. Sorry. So I'm happy to hear that.
Well, wait, which was first? Wasn't it Florida State first?
No, I think it was the Braves first, and Florida State did it, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I'm just wondering.
I don't think Hank Aaron was playing with the Tomahawk chant. I don't remember it. I wasn't alive partially, but I watched a lot of old baseball, and I don't think that was part of it. Anyway, on to tonight's slate. By the way, side note, I will be doing a showdown show with Rhodey after this at 7 Eastern.
Oh, cool.
And because we're gonna do our picks show, so we thought, hey, why not get involved? Because it's his team, it's the Packers. So
did you do the NFL slate breakdown with him or no?
That's what we're doing afterwards. So I was like,
okay.
Man, if there's one time people could use your help, it's probably going to be for this showdown, because this is the Packers, B level team outside of Aaron Rodgers and Jones. So this is when we could use you. And as a good guy, he decided to come. He said he was happy to come on and do all that stuff. So still waiting on Jeremy Grant news as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen anything. Unless I missed something, I don't think I did. Jeremy Grant's still questionable. That's one of the first games, so we should have that news now. Should have been 35 minutes ago, but we'll see. That's actually relevant to me because I really like Josh Jackson. I like Josh Jackson either way. If Jeremy Grant's out, it's going to be very hard for me not to play Josh Jackson in any lineup I play in basketball tonight.
How much Montrezl Harrell do you have on DraftKings?
I'm not playing a ton of lineups, so I'm just going to make it really easy and play 100%.
Okay.
And I don't even think I mean, look, there's always foul trouble risks, right? We saw it last night with Steven Adams. There's always foul trouble risks in the NBA with big guys and stuff at 70% ownership, maybe even higher. But it's really hard for me to see, even with that, how he fails here. Like, it's a bad statistical matchup if he was like an 8K guy and they had another big to defend. You have a combination of Capella, Collins, potentially Gallinari. These are monster human beings. Like, I don't know who you're going to put Kuzma on the center. That might work for, I guess, if they're using Gallinari that way. Like, I just don't see. There's not one other guy on their team other than Isaiah Todd who you can even point to that might actually be able to defend these guys. They just don't have any of their bigs. So it's really hard for me to get around that. My sneaky clever play, I say, look, it's Aaron Holiday. It's maybe overthinking. I think that there is a real path for him here. But Neto is the obvious one. Neto is going to be the ultra chalk, and I don't blame any of us for it. It's also going to take us away from the San Antonio chalk, which we felt was thin, but it's going to make that San Antonio chalk a little bit less chalky. So the Vassals and Walkers are going to be a little bit less owned than they were before. The Keita Bates Diop. I'm not in love with these guys, but it's a small slate and we're looking for value. So I'm just throwing that out there. So you can use that as those guys as a little bit of off the board plays. I'm a little bit annoyed because I'm gonna have to play some players that I think are thin at chalk on FanDuel. And the players, those would be D'Anthony Melton, who I absolutely love as a player. Wish he was on the Lakers. Just a guy who can get it done no matter what. But he's a very chalky play, and is he the right play? Is this the best way to use a guy 5,500? Should he be like part of a core? He's like a cash game play, and it feels like almost wrong to play him in tournaments. So I might get around a little bit of that. But I do love that game in general. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with my final builds on both sites. But currently, it's a little bit Luka. Well, I guess it's a little bit Luka ahead of Curry for me, but that's the obvious one, right? He's going to be more owned because we have no Kristaps, and I think that genuinely that does bring him more upside. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, Steph at maybe getting a little bit lower ownership than he should, I think is really interesting. So my goal is to play them both in my main lineups. Dwight Powell is a better play than he was. Maxi Kleber, much better play than he was. Jalen Brunson, a much better play than he was. Reggie Bullock is now a play. These are all things we have to factor in. and I think that they're significant factors. I think Dallas needs to win games. If San Antonio keeps this game close, you can throw one of the Vassell, Walker. I prefer Keldon Johnson against those guys, but I think that's this is where you're going to try and figure it out. People are going to decide between Luka and Luka and Curry, and I personally am just going to play both of them in my main lineups on at least DraftKings.
Luka and Curry.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now what I'm doing. I just have to fix this one thing, and then I'll be. I'm sorry. I would have been prepared, but
dude, you're fine. You do a million things all the time. You win everything, so I can fill in a little bit. I love the Derrick Rose long shot play. Okay, like it's a everybody you can mock me and you can say, oh well, that's just a narrative and this is this and that. In the NBA, I'm always going to take the narratives. You know what I mean? Like, and not only am I doing that, I'm not doing it because, oh, I'm siding this way or the other because this guy, I'm not like Derrick Rose wouldn't be a guy if I just was looking at a big slate who I would be considering tonight. But he's in my main lineup as of right now because he is that guy who can go off and maybe gets a little bit of extra run. I know Tibbs does his things and I love him, great coach. But if that game gets into tight situations, and that should be a tight game, I think you might see Derrick Rose playing his season high of minutes so far. And I really like the idea of using Derrick Rose at what I currently have as, I'm going to get his ownership real quick, south of 5%. His 22 minutes could turn into 30 plus. And that's all you need to know. We've seen it already from him with the 28-minute game against Orlando. If Derrick Rose plays 30 minutes, you're going to have a hard time selling me he's not scoring between 30 and 50 fantasy points. I'm not kidding. Like, I really genuinely think that's where the range we're looking at. So I love Derrick Rose. We got the Kemba Walker game the other night. I think it's the Derrick Rose game tonight. That's my long shot hunch. I don't think you should make this a staple of your lineups. This is if you're trying to get different, which we need to do on this slate, that is the play that I'm sort of rolling with at the moment.
All right. I have a couple of things I wanted to say now that I'm a little bit more organized. First of all, just as a comment, if you guys do access my sheets, the projections for especially for the NBA, just letting you know that when stuff happens at like 5:30 or something like that after the injury report, like the Neto news, or you know what I mean, the whoever news, the Dinwiddie news, I am going to be able to get projections updated in time for like say around this time. But one thing it just simply doesn't update with the speed that I need is our ownerships that are adjusted as a result of that. So the ownership projections that you're going to get after something like that happens are just going to be wrong. I'm just telling you guys in advance. There's just no way for me to get around it. Like right now, like if you poll around and you see the average ownership of Raul Neto, I have like 7%, and obviously it's going to be closer to like 40 or whatever, or certainly more than 7, right? So I'm just letting you guys know that when you get a big news injury wise like that, while the projections I'll update as tight as possible, but the ownership is just impossible to do. So I'm just giving you guys that little
And I think people should know that. Like, look at Roto Grinders projected ownership versus the slate. I mean, last night at like 8:30 Eastern, so well after lock, Steven Adams was projected to be 3.5% owned. He was 24%.
Well, and the problem is one way you could judge, like if you want to do your own ownership projections, you could really do it. And all you do, I'm telling you, this is like a little secret, is you take like my projections or Roto Grinders or Awesemos or whoever, and you input it into any optimizer, whether it be Awesemos, SaberSim, Roto Grinders, whatever. Set it for just like 0 variance, right? No randomness, and just run like 1,000 optimals. And whichever guys are in the most, like just judge those ownerships. I mean, that's usually within a couple of percentage points where ownership is going to derive, especially in the NBA. Baseball, not as much because people build lineups based on stacks and things like that. But basketball, that's really, really close. So if you run like 150 optimals, for example, with my projections, and you get like Raul Neto in like 100% of them, and you see that he's projected for 10% ownership, just know that that's wrong. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be. It's just not going to be the case.
100%.
See, the other thing I wanted to mention is um, I just wanted to go over my exposures on DraftKings. So I'm having 100 of Harrell. I'm playing 20 lineups. I have 75% of Luca. Um, those are my two main. The two guys I have over 50. I have 50% of Kuzma as well. I have a good. I have way. I don't want to say too much, but I have like 45% of Derek White.
I like this, by the way, with the Derek White. I
Yeah,
didn't think that was gonna pop for people today. So I think
yeah,
that getting a guy in the teens, I love that ownership.
yeah. So I got a big amount of him. I only have and this is this you can't have everybody, right? So I only have 20% of Curry. I guess that's my main risk, I suppose.
That's with the field, yeah.
Yeah, that's my main risk. And other guys I may have too much of. I'll just kind of go through it. I guess this isn't too much. I have 20% Trae Young. That's fine. 30% Embiid. That's not too much.
No, I mean, hey, you're yeah, that's interesting.
You know, I still have 45% of the bad San Antonio value. The bad one being Vassell. That's
No,
just
but I kind of like it because now it's not bad value. It's going to be it's going to be lower owned than it's projected for, and
yeah.
it brings up an interesting point in chat. And I really like this point by Paul
What's
Lucas, who's made a couple good points lately on our shows. Nobody's going to play Hayes at 4,000, especially with Neto being the same price, and that they're only only the point guard eligible for Hayes. So if you want to play Neto, he and Doncic and Curry, you can't do it. But I love the Killian Hayes play at
Wow.
4K as a way to get a little bit different. Like, this is a way you can win a tournament. And I'm not saying you do it necessarily instead of Neto. I think that you can define builds where you can play he and Neto and then maybe use Luka at the small forward and play Curry as well. And that's what I'm currently trying to figure out a way to do. The problem is I like my forward spots with Bane, Kleber, and Johnson. I think this is a bigger boost to Kleber than the sites are giving credit for. And here's a guy who will, at his worst, he's going to play 20 minutes anyway, and he can, do things in that form as well. So he's okay. You know what I mean? It's not like we have to worry that he's not going to do anything. Well, no, you can always worry that he's not going to do anything, but he's got upside. And I think everybody naturally wants to play the others from Dallas in the situation, specifically Dwight Powell. But I will say that I think that Kleber is probably a better play than Dwight Powell if you played this slate 100 times.
Okay, the other thing I want to go over, I want to go over my FanDuels as well. FanDuel, I don't have anybody locked in on FanDuel. But same thing. I have 20 lineups, and then I also have some. What I do is I have 20 lineups in the lottery, and then I figure out the favorite ones to put into the bigger ones. So I have a total of 20 lineups.
Right.
I have 60% of Harrell. I got 55% of Luka. I have 40% Embiid. And then I have 50% of somebody that we talked about that you like. You said you like to play on FanDuel sometimes. So I have 50% of Hardaway.
Yeah.
And I guess those are the guys I have.
Where do you have Draymond? Where do you have Draymond on FanDuel?
Yeah, I have 25% Draymond.
You're kind of playing the field here. Yeah, it sounds like
that's with the field probably.
I think the same thing with Embiid too.
Okay.
Should be owned over there, won't be owned on DK. And Embiid can always just completely go off. I guess this is a good spot, kind of. I would rather a real motivation game. The truth is that every game is kind of a motivation game for them right now because they're trying to figure themselves out. Embiid fits into the same category of guys who have really been hurt by the new rules. Whining and yelling at the officials is not going to get you a call every time. And by the way, good for the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. Separately, it's a better thing for the sport. We don't need to see this every single. By the way, Luka gets hurt by it too, but he's just too damn good and has the ball in his hands too much for us to even matter. You know what I mean? You're talking about a guy with like a usage rate that's nearing 40 on most games. And anyway, so Embiid is hurt by that a little bit as well. The thing that's crazy is that the guy with the usage rate that I don't think people are playing tonight is Ja, and it's partially because we have these other guards, right? But is Ja not a better play? And I'm posing this question even to myself, than one of Curry or Luka, or can we find enough value to play all three? Probably not on DraftKings, but I think you can on FanDuel. And I think Ja is appropriate. I mean, his usage rate is the highest of all three of them. He had a million turnovers, whatever, yesterday it was, I guess. Had a terrible game and still almost had a triple double. He is was the leading scorer in the NBA until yesterday. I just think this is a good spot for the Ja. If you can somehow find that Ja with Luka and with Luka combination, that could be 200 points on its own. So if you get your value even close to right, you can even be somewhat off and get a 15 out of some guys and play the thin guys like KCP and stuff like that. I think you're in pretty good shape. I really think those three guys have they could hit a ceiling that's even higher than what I'm talking about. But even if they hit their like reasonable, like moderate ceiling, they can get you to 200 fantasy points with the three of them.
What I want to bring up a guy that you brought up before. What do you think of John Collins?
I like John Collins very much. I just don't know. It's become a little more stars and scrubsy because I am going to reach for the Dallas value. I guess that's the answer. I think so. I think Collins, I still think Capella one of these days is going to just have a game that we're just going to be like, how did we not play Capella? He's going to put up 75 fantasy points. But I'm not sure this is the day. I
got two other questions for you. Do you like anybody more on FanDuel? All right, so I got like Jalen Brunson, 4,900 at shooting guard. Do you like anybody more than that at shooting guard at that price? And do you like anybody more than Tim Hardaway at 5K at his price?
So I'm using, because I like shooting guard on FanDuel, I'm using Tim Hardaway currently in my small forward spot.
That's what I have. I have him in my small forward spot.
So I do like Hardaway, to answer that question. I also like Reggie Bullock's going to be on the court a bunch, so I'm going to take that shot. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so yes, I like those guys. I think that Melton was the preferred option for me, and usually I like to play Brunson in my non-Luka lineups, but I think Jalen Brunson and Luka are going to have a field day tonight.
Yeah. But I think because what I think I'm doing is I'm making kind of a correlation play. So I have this lineup on FanDuel that had several Washington guys, but it didn't have anybody running back with Atlanta, but it had Luka. So what I did was I took Luka out and I put in Trae Young, and what that did, it obviously opened up some salary. And that lineup also actually had three Mavericks. It had Luka, Jalen Brunson, and Hardaway, and I was able to take Powell out of power forward and replace him with John Collins. So it gave me like two Atlantas and the three Washingtons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm left with these two Dallas guys by themselves, like Brunson and Hardaway, with no Luka, which is fine. I just want to make sure that I shouldn't upgrade either of those guys. They do rate to be the best point per dollar plays given that each of their positions. So I guess I'm not worried too much about it.
I'm sorry, explain again?
So I have Jalen Brunson right here. I have Jalen Brunson right now at shooting guard at 4,900. I have 5K Tim Hardaway at small forward. Just want to make sure that I shouldn't be upgrading. I have no extra money right now. If there's any way to upgrade those two guys, because I just like everything else.
Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting because what I'm fine. I guess what I'm doing at forward there, like I'm playing because I like Jalen Brunson, I like Tim Hardaway, and I also like Bogdanovich.
Which one?
Bogdan. I think at 5K, he's cheap enough to where he can break a slate on either side. He's obviously a better player in general on DraftKings, but he's 5,500. But if you play all three of those guys together, I think you're getting a little bit different enough.
The problem there, it's not really a problem. Is I already have 2 Hawks in this lineup.
Don't worry so much about it.
Okay.
On this slate, I would say.
So
I have Brunson, Bullock, Hardaway, and Luka in a lineup with no run back at the moment on FanDuel. And I'm not like thrilled about it, but it is what.
That's just, you just gave me the answer. It's fine. The only thing is
tell me the answer. I'd like to know the answer.
Oh, I replaced Hardaway with Bogdan.
Well, that's that. Then you're getting off the board. I'm playing them together because I think it'll be low owned together. But I kind of like that. Like I think that's interesting. I like that.
I think I'm going to do that. But this Bogdan now Bogdan. He's not going to be one that's like that that gets hurt by DeAndre Hunter, right?
He could get hurt by anybody. He could also shoot his way into having the best game. Like I don't know. It really just depends on how the game plays. But he has the upside. It's all you need to know, I think, is the answer for tournaments.
So I'm on a 1v1 at this point with Bogdan or Hardaway.
I think Hardaway is the better play, but the more obvious play. But he's going to be, he's going to be 40% owned, or 50% owned, and you're going to have Bogdan who's less than 10. So if your lineup is really not chalky the rest of the way, then I would take Hardaway. If your lineup is chalky,
it doesn't have Luka, so that's something.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Grant is in. Okay, well that changes a little bit of.
Don't have to worry about playing freaking Josh Jackson, right?
I still think you should probably play him.
Oh man,
Every time someone gets announced in late, it's like a Josh. That's the Josh Jackson 50 freaking fantasy point game. No, but in all seriousness, there's nothing wrong with Jackson. Embiid and Milton available to play. So we pretty much know what we're getting into here.
Nah, I'm telling you, I think I might do. I want to pull a big T. I want to just stack this first freaking game and just tell everybody to come and get me.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll.
I finally get to post a screenshot at like 8:30, like some of these other people do.
I haven't been posting any, but I swear there hasn't been like a night that's gone by where I haven't been first at some point. So I'm probably playing too much of the early games.
I play so much of these late games. I like feel like I'm going to lose my money every night. then they come back. They keep coming.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna answer a few questions in chat while we're talking here. I'm not gonna go anywhere, so don't worry. Gallinari is a terrible play in my opinion. Horrible in general on back-to-backs, not even getting enough minutes normal. By the way, Boban is available to play tonight, which for whatever that means. This is an interesting situation because there is that weird outside chance that they decide to start Bogdan. They do that,
Oh, I thought he started already.
No, I'm sorry, not Bogdan. I'm sorry.
Boban?
Boban.
Oh.
It's just a weird, keep it in mind. It's against Podol. I could see them trying to do something weird with that. I wish he was the bare minimum. He is on FanDuel, basically, 3,700. But I think it's kind of interesting. You could hold out and try to see. I don't know. They probably won't announce their starting lineup until right before the game. I just think it's kind of interesting because we were joking about Moses Brown earlier, but I actually think that with Kristaps out, they've done this before, and maybe it's good to get ahead of the trend on that, I guess.
And what?
On if for some reason they could potentially start Boban. They'll do it against big centers, and Podol is a big center. I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's going to put 1 million fantasy points, but if he plays, he's probably 5Xing or more. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just his thing. It's what he does.
I'm running my new NFL lineups and see what they look like.
Oh, you're on the NFL. All right. I'm going to keep answering questions in chat then.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
I'm just telling you what I'm doing.
Moses Brown is not in play. All right. Let's see what else we got.
Neither is Boban. Neither is Boban.
Melton or Bain straight up. If you could pick one of them. Oh, it's to both of us. I would take Bain over Melton, as I will say every single night. Melton will sometimes get there, but I'm going to take Bain in general.
I think they're exactly this. I mean, I hate to say that. I think they're.
They're not though. One is a backup guard / wing. The other is a starting wing.
No, I just meant as far as the play goes.
Oh, okay. All right. I like Bain.
I have them pretty much the same. I mean,
I like Bain better.
Actually, I have Melton. You know what? Just to be a pain in the ass, I have Melton a little bit better.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, interesting.
Not really.
I think it's interesting because
they're both going to be 20%. They're both going to get probably 30 points.
No, Bain is going to be like 50%.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think Bain is the obvious play. I think Melton is a reach that we all go for because he's really good, and occasionally it works out. And this seems like the kind of matchup that will work out on the second of a back-to-back. But I think Bain is going to be double the ownership of Melton, is my guess. On DraftKings. On FanDuel,
do you know who Malik Taylor is?
I know the name. Why?
Make sure to ask Brody who Malik Taylor is.
Oh, you're on football now, dude. Can't switch sports on me without a little heads up next time.
Because I'm getting him in a couple of lineups. He's like I think his salary is 30 cents.
So, what we need to figure out how to do here is, I would love to play Killian Hayes and these guys with Neto. But what I think I really want to do is to try to find a way to play Aaron Holiday, because well, no, it's not that I like it. It's that you're getting the lower owned option of the two between he and Neto, and with the one guy being 50% and the other guy being 3%, I'm going to take that shot. That's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah. And that's all I got to say about that one.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. This would be Neto. But I do think if you play him, you want to try to play him with Neto. I'm sorry, no, Holiday you want to play separately probably. But I think if you want to play Killian Hayes, you want to play him with Neto. Right? Yeah, that makes sense.
If you want to play Killian Hayes,
play him with Neto.
Why is that?
Because you're talking about two guys at 4K, and it's not that people are deciding on them, but I'm not saying that Killian Hayes is going to outscore Neto tonight. I'm saying that he doesn't have to outscore Neto tonight.
Aaron Holiday. Okay. And you like Aaron Holiday more? You like Aaron Holiday more than KCP?
I mean, KCP is going to have a lot more ownership, so
yeah, he will.
I'll take Aaron Holiday.
That sounds good.
And the problem is, like, you'd want to use Harrell and then one of the bigs, but you can't use Powell with Harrell if you're going to play all the guards that I want to play. So it's kind of an interesting spot. Anyway, it's an interesting spot no matter what, no matter how you slice it. Like, it can go either way. I'm sorry, I got to run for 1 second. Can you guys hold on a second? Sheets, go ahead, take it over for 1 second.
Yeah. So I'm kind of I look at questions. I'm kind of interested in building in these football lineups now. I think I'm going to play Randall Cobb in the captain in my big buy-in. I think that's where I'm going.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Over here. All right.
I think Bobby. I think I'm going to get your approval on this too. So I'm not going to be around for your showdown slate thing. So I want to get your input. So I'm in my bigger buy-in. By the way, I mean I play one in the bigger ones now. I am putting Cobb in the captain.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I am putting Cobb in the captain.
Wow, Josh Jackson is still starting, which is probably like worse for Josh Jackson, but it just still makes me want to play him. Everything makes me want to play Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson is your man.
He is. He's my guy.
Josh Jackson is your man. You have to remember during the football show to ask who Malik Lewis is. No, not Mercedes Lewis. Malik something else.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll make sure. I know who Mercedes Lewis is. He's a UCLA guy.
Yeah, he scored. Remember, he scored like 3 touchdowns on like a London game, like
with like eight. Yeah, with like eight yards.
Yeah, yeah. The guy's name is Malik Taylor. I have him at I have 15% of him.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to get into to that yet.
Yeah, he has 0 targets in the last 4 weeks.
0
Gotta love it.
He's a lock.
Well, I mean, they have nobody else, right? It's Malik, yeah. It's Malik, whatever it is, Malik Taylor season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Exactly. By the way, if you want to do something but different than these guys, and it's impossible, like, no, this is a guy who 0% of people are going to play, and he's getting all the minutes, and he is the kind of shooter where you can get minutes. If you want to pivot off of Vassell or Neto, or even the Killian Hayes that we talked about, a weird play, Damian Lee, they raised his price. Like, I've been on the Damian Lee thing, and I feel really good about that. Regardless of entirely results, he was good in the last game. His price makes it a little harder for him now, but he's got the shooting ability and the chances on the court to get there. That's an interesting pivot. Maybe not even a pivot, maybe a guy you play in addition to those guys.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put Holiday in my main lineup.
That's awesome.
I think you have to take some shots here. You know, the problem is, does he outscore Neto even still? Like, Neto has just been – I think Neto is really, really awesome. Like, he's just cool. I mean, just a good basketball player, very underrated. And it would allow me to play one of my Jalen Green or Jordan Clarkson. I still think there's a thing to this Jordan Clarkson idea, but it's become less relevant than it was beforehand.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Watch him go out and score 50, and I'm not going to play him. I think I can feel it already. Can feel it stewing in me.
Wow. So the cut line, you say they look like it's going to be about +2?
I think it'll be +2 or +3. Depends on the weather tomorrow.
I thought I was going to be in good shape too because I got my outright bet on Pereira, and he got very lucky with the freaking with the draw because it was much harder earlier in the day. And he didn't start till 12:30 in the afternoon. I thought I got really lucky, but he just didn't play all that great.
But he's okay.
No, he's fine. But I really thought I had a big advantage. But
yeah. No, I mean, that's a good call on that. It's just my Patrick Reed. I mean, a couple of really bad shots cost him having a monster day.
Are you kidding me? I was gonna be so excited about it. The Vanderwall was doing great for a while. Then all of a sudden, I got something to eat, and he's like +5. I'm like, what happened?
I know. Hey, I bet you he still makes the cut. I think he's gonna make the cut.
Well, that's tough, man. To a -3 on that course is really difficult.
He might go -2 though. It might be enough.
That's
true.
That's true.
And he has a good draw tomorrow, actually.
The only guy you can always count on is Aaron Rye.
How about Aaron Eckrott?
I saw that.
I told you. I played that guy.
I saw that.
At one point, I was like 6th in the thing, but I have Hadwin in that lineup, who's only 3 over, so he's fine. He's got a chance, But he made literally no birdies today. Yeah. That's hard to do.
So
anyway.
The X Factor's asking low-owned Mitchell. Which one?
Donovan.
Mitchell.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome play to use sometimes. To me, I'm not getting to it tonight. But I mean, look, the guy's going to go out for 60 one of these times really, really, really soon. So I just don't feel like this is the game they're going to need him to. I tend to like to use Mitchell in games where they really need him. And this is not a spot where I feel like that's the case. But, Houston starts the game off 24-3. Then maybe Mitchell does get 60. But other than that, it's going to be hard for me to see getting to. I like the Clarkson play better. I'm trying to see if I'm different enough in my main lineup. I think I am with the Aaron Holiday alone. Oh, okay, why am I doing this?
Dude, you are plenty different with De'Aaron Holiday, I think.
With
Whatever his
Aaron
name-
Holiday instead of Neto, yeah, I think that is pretty different.
I'm telling you, that's all you need.
Yeah, all right, I'll take it.
I think
I hope you're right.
you've done much better with Aaron Holiday than almost anybody.
Because yeah, UCLA guys. I'm always good with the guys who I really, really know their games. And I thought I was gonna have him the other night. He had like 17 fantasy points in the first half. I think he ended up with 17 and a half.
And now finally you don't have to worry about, worrying if it's the wrong Holiday getting the shot off,
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
Were there 3 Holidays on the same team at one point? No.
Yeah. There was Aaron, Justin. Yeah, no, just Aaron.
Were they all and Drew? Were they all on the same team?
No, Drew has been on different teams the whole time. They played each other though a few times, and we talked about it.
Okay.
That was probably what you're thinking of. I'm a Fade Harrell in one tournament, exactly one, and it feels very thin, to be honest.
That's fair.
Trying to figure out a way to get this Luka Curry thing in the same lineups, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Actually it's not too bad on DK.
I wonder what happens here if I do this. Can't enter this contest. Screw you then. Okay.
All right, so Aaron Holiday is in my main lineup. Wow. Bobby, what are you doing?
No good?
You know what, though? I don't have another giant point of differentiation, and I think that just even the shooting guard eligibility
is this FanDuel or DraftKings?
I also have Steven Adams in the same lineup.
You know what? I don't think you have to worry about being different, sir.
Okay, well, good. I mean, we thought that yesterday, but today
but Adams is like 50% owned or whatever.
I know Adams ends up 24% owned in the big one. I'm like, what just happened here? I was waiting for my late night, and it was a really ugly night for me because I was cashing with no chance almost not to cash in one lineup. And then I was cashing I was just missing the cash with 4 guys left who all looked like they were just going to be the stone cold nuts after the first quarter. And somehow they both bubbled in the 444. And I was like, how does this happen? I just at least thought it was going to be a profitable night. Anyway, Holiday starting. Ugh.
Oh man, I gotta do some of this, don't I?
There goes some of my low ownership, though. That's the most important thing.
That's true.
He's not off the board anymore.
I don't have anybody. Oh, what's his price?
3,600.
Boy, I could replace Dwight Powell with him in the utility.
Yeah, I'm gonna change I was gonna play a bunch of Reggie Bullock, and I still think he's a fine play. I just it's going to be hard for me on FanDuel not to play pretty much as if you think that game is going to stay close, I think you should be playing Bradley Beal. Simple as that. Dinwiddie is their other shot creator. This team isn't built with a bunch of other guys who can create. I don't even consider Holiday one of them. It's more Neto. Neto actually is better at it than he is. I'm gonna have to take Gobert out of my main lineup on FanDuel. Ugh. He was gonna be in my big one over on FanDuel. He made a lot of sense over there, but I'm starting to get away from it. And we will play Maxi Kleber. Kleber, I have I think 100% in my. Oh no, I don't. Never mind.
I don't think I have any of him.
I'm telling you right now, the projections may not.
No, I do. Hey, you know I got 15% of? Sneaky. Jordan Poole.
Yeah, I like that.
A little sliver of DeRozan. A little sliver of Vooch. Little sliver of Maxey. I like the little slivers sometimes. Little Gobert. Okay, there's just no way that I'm going to allow this to happen without me having some of it. So I'm going to be replacing a little of Powell with some of this Aaron Holiday beeswax. Oh, wait, but you don't want to play Aaron Holiday with Neto, right? Probably
You
not.
can do it. You absolutely can do it.
And Beal, like all three of them? Probably not.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
No. Harrell, Bane. You know what? I won't play Holiday. I'll root for you. It's even better.
I'll take it.
No, I am going to play him here. I'm going to play him here. I found one without Beal. I'm going to play him. Holiday. Makes sense. There's that one. And then I'll play. Can you play him with KCP? I guess what's the difference, right?
I do want to throw one play I like out on FanDuel. Royce O'Neal also.
Okay.
Great matchup for Royce O'Neal. You're going to see some steals and blocks in that game. I think that he's a good candidate to get some of those.
He's always good for a little of that.
And yeah, he's like cheap, but like people think he doesn't have an upside because he doesn't score many points. But he put up, he's 4,500. He puts up 30 fantasy points, and you're in great shape. And he can totally do that. Yeah, the James is agreeing with me. Luka, Morant, Curry. Yeah, Stars and Scrubs, Project Mayhem. I'm with you, man. I'm sort of doing a similar thing. I am trying to force myself to keep the Keldon Johnson in there, though. Keldon Johnson is going to be our favorite DPP play when he's less than 25% owned because he has a monster ceiling. There is a downside, but it's probably like 20-ish points, and it's only because the guards are all doing it. You can play an all-guard lineup against Dallas, but realistically in this matchup, I think you're going to see a lot more of him. So I really like Keldon Johnson.
You know what? I got to pivot for a second. You also have to ask Brody about somebody else because you know how you want to play like Arnold to Arnold in those guys. How about I have a lineup, a couple on FanDuel, one on DraftKings. You can play A. Rogers to A. Rogers.
A. Rogers to A. Oh, there you go.
Amari Rogers.
You're just looking at all their whole depth chart, aren't you?
All of it.
Just the whole thing.
All of it. Give me one target.
That's all you need.
One target around the 4-yard line. That's all I need.
Can you play Powell and Kleber together? Yes, in this matchup.
Okay.
Not ideal, but I would try to pick one. Kleber a little bit is rating better for me. Forget the numbers, but that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, I could smell dinner in the background, so I'm gonna be leaving to enjoy that.
I'm gonna be leaving to go do my show. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back in like 5 minutes.
Wait, how long are you going until?
We'll probably just go for half hour because Rody has to build.
Just to 7 to 7:30.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck, everybody. Don't forget late swap if you hear some late news, and that'll do it.
Yep. As Sheets would say, rock the house, pull the sheets, guys. Take down a big one. Good luck, everybody.